Hi, I'm Jillian and this is the Prospects tutorial College Matchmaking for Dummies. Today we're going to use one of the best, most comprehensive tools out there, CollegeBoard's matchmaking tool. You should start off by going into Google and searching College Matchmaker CollegeBoard and clicking on the first link. So click on that and it takes you to their big future page. Now, when you get here, you're going to notice that there's a whole lot of colleges, and they're not selected by anything. They have almost 4,000 colleges in their database. Today I'm going to show you how to use this tool to find your match and your safety schools, and I'm going to point out some tips for your search. While this tool isn't everything, it's one of the best ways to get a preliminary list of your preferences about selectivity, location, and campus life. Today we're going to use my hypothetical student, Jeff. Jeff is a rising senior who wants to be an anthropology major, so let's start his search. First of all, he's not really interested in a two-year college, and he's interested in both public and private schools, but not in for-profit schools. Jeff doesn't want a small liberal arts college or a huge university, so he's going to pick medium, and he would prefer co-ed. He has no preference for religious affiliation, as he's not particularly religious. Now, we've refined to only 744 results, so let's go a little further. First of all, Jeff would like to be within 500 miles of his home. See, now we've already refined to 303 results. Jeff would prefer to be in an urban campus, though he's willing to look at suburban. Rural is not his taste. And he would prefer a campus where most students live on campus, as it creates more campus life. Since he's looking at urban schools, he would prefer that all undergrads have on-campus housing available. But because he's also looking at suburban schools, he's willing to change that to a want rather than a must-have. As for special housing, he's not particularly interested in any of these, and since he is looking at urban schools, he's not really interested in having a car on campus. Now, Jeff he would really prefer anthropology. He would also really prefer that study abroad be available, as he really loves to travel, but this is a want rather than a must-have. He doesn't particularly care about the time his classes are, and he would prefer not to have weekend college classes. Next, we're going to look at sports and activities. Jeff is not a huge sports fan, so it doesn't particularly matter to him, though he would prefer that they have a football team. And that's going to be a want rather than a must-have. Jeff is incredibly involved in his student newspaper, so he's also going to prefer that that is there, and he would like it if Greek life was available. But this is, again, a want and not a must-have. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Jeff is looking for both his safeties and his match schools, and he would prefer to be in a very selective school. Jeff was incredibly consistent on his SATs. He got 650s across the board. And I would recommend unclicking this option, include colleges that don't report SAT or ACT scores. That's really going to refine the search. Academic credit, he would prefer AP Credit be available, as he took plenty of AP classes in college, but this is a want to not a must-have. When it comes to average school, he doesn't know what his net price is, as it's not something he's discussed with his parents yet, though I would recommend you do that. But he's going to say that he would prefer that the tuition and fees be around $40 or less. This is going to eliminate some of the more expensive schools, but will still keep several available, and he would like it if work-study were possible. He's not an international student, so he's not going to select this option. Support services. Well, these are all great things. He's not particularly interested in them, though he's going to select tutoring, as that's a nice thing to have. And he does not have any kind of disability, so he's not going to select these. So these are very important if they apply to you. He would prefer that the school be at least 20% minority students. So now, it gave him 5 options that he's interested in. What we can see here is that he has several state schools that meet his preferences. So what we're going to do is we're going to refine the search to give him a few more things. For instance, max tuition and fees, he might be getting financial aid. He doesn't know, so we're going to change that to a want. That gives him a few more options, and we'll include some private schools. So now he has a good working list. I would really highly recommend looking at, if your school has a system like Naviance, seeing what they say, because College Matchmaker tends to be very optimistic. This is giving him some reaches and matches, so now we're going to find his safety. Now, how we're going to do this? We're going to go include some somewhat selected universities. Now we've gotten a few more. He's got 27 schools. So now he's got a working list of 27 schools to research. Now, since the college matchmaking tool is not necessarily a one-size-fits-all, and he may not find his preference there, but it's a good place to start.